Hi, it's Leslie Fightmaster. Welcome to day 67 in our 90-day yoga fix. I hope that you are enjoying yourself. Today's class, we will focus on some core and ab work. So sit up nice and tall, bring your hands together in front of your heart, taking a moment to set an intention for your practice today. And all intentions are always welcome. Maybe a word, maybe a phrase. Maybe you'd like to send out some positive energy to somebody today. So keeping that intention in mind, we'll come onto our backs and hug the knees into the chest. To start your Ujjayi pranayama if you haven't already, breathing in and out through the nose. And draw your right knee in towards your chest and extend your left leg out onto the floor, taking a couple of breaths here. Inhale the right leg straight up toward the ceiling. Hold on behind your thigh or down by your calf, or maybe even take your toe. And stretching out our hamstrings. Hug the knee in again, and then switch. Draw the left knee into the chest. Extend your right leg out, and flex your right ankle so your toes point up toward the ceiling and your right leg is active. Nice steady breaths. And then extend the left leg up, stretch it out, flexing the left ankle as well. Nice steady breathing. And then release that, hugging both knees into the chest, and extend both legs up. Bring your hands right next to your hips or underneath. Extend your right leg almost to the floor and hold. And switch, left leg almost to the floor, right leg is up, and switch. So if this bothers you to have your hands by your sides, switch legs, then put your hands under your hips a little, and switch. That'll protect your lower back. And switch. If your legs won't straighten, no worries, just straighten them out as much as you can. Switch. Keep the belly lifted and switch. Keep breathing. Switch, and switch, holding after the switch, and switch, left leg up, right leg down, or wherever you are, and switch legs, continue to draw the belly in and breathe, switch legs, and switch, almost finished. And done. Now lift your hips straight up off the floor and set them down. Lift up and lower. Lift up and lower. So as much as you can, keep going. Try to get your feet to go straight up instead of by your head. Mine are going a little toward my head, but I'd rather see straight up and down is better. Keep drawing the belly in, just little lifts, and this will get into our low abs. So keep lifting the belly and just little lift up and lower. Lift and lower. Lift and lower, lift and lift, straight up, lift and release. Now, legs are wide, knees are bent, and make little pulses. Try to get your knees about above your hips, but then you can let them open wide and pulse up and up. If this starts to bother your neck, cradle your head in your hands instead. Keep pulsing up and up. Keep the legs, knees over hips. Lift and lift and lift. Keep the belly lifted. Keep breathing. Now knees together. Keep lifting up. Reach your fingertips toward the front. Extend through the legs and then bend the knees. Extend the legs and bend the knees over the hips. You can hold your head, extend the legs, and bend the knees. If it bothers the neck, hold the head. Extend your legs. And bend the knees over the hips, table position, extend the legs, bend the knees, draw your belly in, extend, and bend the knees, extend the legs. If you want to work harder, bend the knees, you can extend the legs lower to the floor. And now roll yourself up into boat pose, sitting up nice and tall. Knees can be bent or straight. If your knees are straight, though, back has to be long. And then bend the right knee, extend the left, and switching back and forth. Bending, you can hold on with your hands on the floor if it gets to be too much, or keep your hands right next to your hips with the hands off the floor. And keep drawing one knee in, extending the other. Just back and forth, extending one knee and the other. Now boat pose, cross your ankles, roll forward, and make your way into plank pose. Exhale, lower all the way down to the floor. Untuck your toes. Inhale for a cobra. Peel your chest up. Tailbone toward the heels. And then lower. And again, come on up on your inhale. Maybe a higher cobra if you can. Keep the belly pulled up and the tailbone reaching toward the heels. Lower down. Make sure all 10 toenails are pressing onto the mat. Inhale, upward facing dog, still all 10 toenails. And exhale, down dog. If upward facing dog doesn't feel good on your back, stick with cobra. Take your arms shoulders distance apart and your feet hips width and start to bicycle your legs in your down dog. Be sure to spread your fingers nice and wide and root down in the base of your fingers as you lift up through your forearms. Your outer upper arms, triceps spin toward the back of the mat and then press extra weight in the thumb and first finger. Let's come onto the knees and onto the forearms. Make sure your elbows are right under your right in line with your shoulders. No wider. Wrists in front of the elbows. Lift up. It's just like down dog, except you're on your forearms instead. So keep pressing again into that thumb and first finger side of the hand. And then take a step back about a foot. Bring your hips forward so your hips and shoulders are in the same line for dolphin plank. Lift the backs of your knees. Draw your belly in. Make sure your low back isn't arching. If it is, stick your buns up in the air a little bit. That'll help. Or you can drop your knees down. Continue to breathe. Don't let your head drop. Just a couple more breaths. Getting strong. Continuing just a little longer, you can make it. And then walk your feet in, lift your hips up, back into dolphin pose. Reach the heels toward the floor, press up into down dog. If that doesn't work, drop to the knees first and then make your way up into down dog. Make sure your arms are shoulder distance again. Look forward, step or hop your feet up. Take an inhale and lengthen through your spine. As you exhale, fold forward, hips over the heels. On your inhale, root through your feet and rise all the way up. Exhale your hands to heart. Inhale, circle your arms up. Exhale, folding forward, hinging from your hips. As you inhale, come halfway up and lengthen. Exhale, step back into plank, chaturanga, shoulders no lower than the elbows. Inhale, press through your hands and feet, up dog or cobra. Exhale, back into downward dog. So if chaturanga, if you can't hold it without arching your back, either take your knees down or just hold plank until you get stronger. Chaturanga is really hard, so if you're struggling with it, just know you are not alone. It's not an easy pose. Look forward, step or hop your feet up. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold in, crown of the head reaching down. Inhale, root through the feet, reach all the way up. And exhale, samastitihi. Again, inhale, circle your arms up. Exhale, hinge from your hips and fold, keeping your spine long. Inhale, halfway up, lengthen. Exhale, step or float back. If you float back, land with your elbows bent in chaturanga. Inhale, press through your hands and feet. And exhale, make your way into down dog, pressing the weight up through the hips and reaching it down through the heels. Keep your gaze between the knees or feet. And breathe, inhales and exhales, equal in length. Looking forward, bend the knees, step or hop up. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale and fold. And inhale, pressing down through your feet. Come all the way up with a long spine. And exhale, hands to heart. Again, inhale, circle your arms up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, look up to lengthen. Exhale, step or float into Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, press through your hands and feet. Exhale into down dog, stretching back here. Remember, you can always rest, take your knees down, push the pause button. It's always an option. Inhale your right leg back and up, lift it from your inner thigh. Exhale, step it forward, take your left knee down. Pat up your left knee if you need any padding on that knee. Make sure your right knee's over your ankle, sink into a low lunge. Pull the right hip back and draw your belly in. Triceps are spinning forward, almost like your palms could face the back of the mat. Stretch up nice and tall. Exhale, tuck the toes under, sweep your right leg up, come right onto your forearms. You're in a three-legged dolphin pose. Make sure your elbows are under the shoulders, and then step the right foot down, step back, come forward, dolphin plank. If you didn't get that, don't worry, we're going to do it again. Reach the crown of your head forward, lift the backs of your knees up. Reach through the heels, lift right in between your shoulders, and draw your belly in strongly, making sure your elbows aren't going wider than your shoulders. Then walk your feet up, lift your hips back to dolphin, and lift up into down dog. Knees down first if you like. Left leg floats up. Exhale, step it through, right knee to the floor. Inhaling to your low lunge, pull your left hip back, send your right hip forward. Spin your triceps forward. Sinking the hips, but keeping your belly and ribs pulled in. Stretch up tall. Triceps spinning forward again. And keep your breath nice and steady. And take your hands to the floor. Sweep your left leg up. Come onto the forearms at the same time. Keep that left leg lifted from the inner thigh. So we try to keep the hips as level as we can. And then take your left foot down, walk back, and come back into dolphin plank. Dolphin plank day. Keep lifting the backs of the knees, firm your legs, so pull up on the kneecaps. So we want to use our leg muscles and our belly muscles as much as we use our shoulders and our arms. That way it's not all shoulders and arms. Walk your feet in, lift your hips up, press down, and come up into downward dog. Come to the knees first if you like, and stretch back here. If you want a break, take it. Take the knees down and rest. Look up, step or hop your feet. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale and fold. Bend your knees and drop your hips, coming to Utkatasana chair pose. Weight into the heels and press your shins back. Reach up through your arms, sink your hips. Keep lifting your belly in and up. Steady breathing. Almost done. Sink a little lower if you can. Just another breath or two. Oh, it's such a great pose. I have a love-hate with it. It's hard. Fold forward and straighten the legs any amount. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, step or float into Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale into up dog. And exhale back for downward dog. Float your right leg up on the inhale. As you exhale, step it up by the right hand and stay on the ball of your back foot for a high lunge. Drop your tailbone, lift your hip points, and reach up through your arms. Get really long. Pull the right hip back. Now slowly bend the left knee any amount. Tap it down or just bend it a little and then straighten it. Exhale, slowly bend the knee. Inhale, straighten it up. Exhale and lower down. Inhale and straighten up. Bring the hands back to the mat and sweep that right leg up, coming back to the forearms again. Three-legged dolphin. Then take that right foot down, walk your feet back, dolphin plank. This time, roll to the pinky toe side of the right foot, lift your left arm up. Try and stack your hips on top of each other. You can always put your bottom knee down. That's fine. Or take your top leg forward and set that foot on the floor. That'll help with your balance. You can also bring that right forearm more parallel with the front of the mat. Come back to dolphin plank, lift up, back into dolphin, press up into down dog. Knees down first or not. Inhale, left leg back and up. Exhale, step it forward. Stay on the ball of your back foot, come on up into crescent. Pull your left hip back, drop your tailbone down. Working that back leg, stretch up nice and tall. And lower down, almost touching or just lower a little. Straighten the leg. Inhale, lower down. Exhale, and straighten that leg. Inhale, lower, drop the tailbone. Exhale, straighten the leg. Bring your hands to the mat. Float the left leg up, back to the forearms, three-legged dolphin pose. Make sure your elbows stay under the shoulders. And then step back, dolphin plank, roll to the pinky toe side of your left foot. Reach your right arm, stack your hips on top of each other. Keep the belly lifted. Remember, you can take your left knee down. You can also step your right foot forward onto the mat for extra support. Keep lifting away from the floor and breathing. Just another breath or two. And then back through center, back to dolphin. Walk your feet in and then knees down or up. Make your way back into down dog. And just take a couple breaths. Please feel free to take a break if you like. That's the great thing about practicing at home is you can push pause. Inhale, right leg back and up. Exhale, step it through. Stand the ball of your back foot again and crescent pose. Reach up. Right hip pulling back. So we're going to bend the left knee. Exhale, straighten it. Inhale, bend the knee any amount. Exhale and straighten. Inhale, bending the knee. Exhale, straighten that leg. Now, take your back foot flat. Line up your front heel with your back arch, warrior two. Make sure your right knee is over your ankle and gaze over your fingertips. Drop the left arm reverse. As you exhale, bend into the right knee, maybe a little more. Inhale to come up. Straighten the front leg. Shift your hips back for triangle pose. Press weight into the base of the big toe. Draw your right hip under you. Get as much length as you can. Look up at the left hand. If it bothers your neck to look up, then look forward or down. Release that. Step back, plank pose, chaturanga, all the way down to the floor. Untuck your toes, press all the toenails into the floor. Pubic bone lightly down, lift up into Shalabhasana. So lift everything up. Inner thighs are spinning up. Hip points are still lifting toward the lower ribs, and the belly picks up off the floor. Crown of the head stretching forward. Widen the collarbones. Breathe, back of your neck long, shoulder heads lifting. Just another breath, and then hands by the ribs. Inhaling to cobra or up dog, and exhaling back into downward dog. Inhale, left leg floats back and up from the inner thigh. Exhale, step it up, crescent pose, all the way up, knee over the ankle. Stretch up tall, pull the left hip back. Bend the back knee, inhaling, exhale, and straighten that leg out. Inhale, bend it slowly as you can. Exhale and straighten. Inhale, bending, and exhale to straighten. Take your back foot flat, line up your front heel with your back arch. Come to warrior two. Make sure your left knee is over the ankle and it points right over your middle toes, and gaze over your left fingertips. Back arm as high as your front arm. And the back thigh presses back, and then drop your right arm reverse. Bend into the left knee, maybe a little bit deeper. Inhale to come up. Straighten the front leg, walk it in a little if you like to. Shift your hips back for triangle pose, Utthita Trikonasana. Bring your left hand down to the shin or the floor. Reach up through the right arm. Or if you have a yoga block, you can always put your left hand on your block. I like it on the pinky toe side because that way I can lean my torso directly over my front thigh. And that is good to get the length. Reach up through the top arm, maybe look toward those top fingertips. Look back to the floor, bend the front knee, take a vinyasa all the way to the floor. So not a full vinyasa. Bring your arms by your ears, lift everything up into Shalabhasana again. So inner thighs spin up, tailbones lengthening toward the heels, pubic bones pressing down lightly, pick up your belly. Try and breathe into your chest. Nice, steady Ujjayi breaths. Continue lifting. And then hands by your ribs. Inhaling into up dog or cobra pose. And exhaling into downward facing dog pose. Stretching back. Lengthen through your spine. Come back into plank. Exhale, lower to the floor again. Bend your knees, reach for the pinky toe sides of the feet. If that doesn't work, reach your arms forward, coming back to Shalabhasana. Otherwise, Dhanurasana. Take the pinky toe sides of your feet and lift up as you press your feet back. Breathe into the chest. It's a great shoulder opener as well as a strengthener of the back and the hamstrings, and stretches out the front. Steady breathing. If you need padding underneath your torso, you can always put a blanket there or a towel if you have something. And then lower down to rest. Just a couple breaths here. You might be feeling your heart beating a little bit stronger from the back bend. Same thing, take the pinky toe sides of the feet, lift up, Dhanurasana. If that doesn't work, stay with Shalabhasana or locust pose. Keep lifting your feet up and pressing your feet back. So the more you can lift up and press back, the stronger sensation you'll feel and the more muscles you'll need to use to hold the pose. Steady breath. Keep the back of your neck long, keep lifting the belly, and release. Hands by your ribs. Inhale to press up. Exhale to downward facing dog. Look up, step or hop through, and sit. Come onto your back. So we're going to take bridge pose. Feet hips width apart, outer edges of your feet parallel. Bring your hands right alongside your torso. Tilt the pelvis up, lift up. This time, let's take the sides of your mat and hold them in your hands, and then try and pull the mat away from, or pull your hands away from each other, like you're kind of pulling the mat in two. That'll widen through your collarbones a lot. Tailbone toward the backs of your knees and keep your neck long. Make sure your outer edges of your feet remain parallel. Release and take the soles of your feet together. Let your knees drop apart and rest. And again, feet hips width apart, outer edges parallel, arms by your sides, lift into bridge. Roll your shoulders under, interlace your fingers if you can. Maybe take the opposite interlace today for something different. Spiral the thighs in toward each other like you're holding a little yoga block or yoga brick between your inner thighs. Continue stretching out the whole front of your body. Take another long breath here and release it. Soles of feet together, knees apart. Take a moment to return to the intention you set for your practice. Just honor whatever it is. One more time, set up for bridge, feet hips width, lift up, interlace the fingers, roll the shoulders under, other interlace, the regular one. Feet together a little bit, extend the right leg straight ahead of you so your knees are in line. Keep lifting up away from the floor. So that left back thigh or hamstrings are getting very, 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 very strong, and your glute muscle on the left side is also getting strong, so you might feel it. Release your right foot and do the left. So the left leg is extending out, knees are close to in line with each other. Keep pressing down into your right heel, and you can feel your hamstrings and your glutes getting a little stronger. They might be talking to you a bit, saying, "What are you doing?" Keep breathing through it. And release. Now right leg up, take your right ankle just past your left knee. Still in bridge, so those muscles are probably talking a little bit louder. And now we're opening the right hip. So try and let that right knee drop down. And release it. Extend the left leg out, take the left ankle just past the right knee, and try and drop that left knee down, so that you get a good stretch in the left hip. Continue lifting in your bridge. Try and hold it a little longer. I know it's probably on fire. I know mine was feeling it. And release. Come on down and hug your knees into your chest. Gently rock from side to side. That should feel pretty nice. And then take the pinky toe sides of your feet for happy baby. Draw your knees in toward your armpits and gently rock side to side, keeping your tailbone lengthening. Then straighten out the legs any amount. You don't have to hold onto your feet. You could hold on someplace on your legs if it's hard to straighten out the knees. And then release. Start to roll yourself up and down the spine. You take a couple of rocks. Come all the way up and sit. Extend the legs, flex the ankles, and then take your soles of your feet together and your knees apart. Inhale, lengthen. As you exhale, hinge from the hips, extending forward. So try and keep some length here instead of rounding the back. Draw your belly in. And even if your knees aren't down very far, just start to stretch the knees toward the floor any amount. It never matters how deep we get into a pose, just as long as you feel a stretch. That's the important thing. Blood is moving in, toxins are moving out. Inhale and come up. Take your knees together. Straighten out your legs. Inhale, reach for the feet or legs. Exhale and extend forward, again with a nice long spine. So leading with your chest. Crown of your head is reaching forward toward the toes. If you're up a little bit higher, gaze at your toes. If you're down a little lower, gaze at your shins. And drawing your belly in here. Inhale is head up, and exhale to release. We'll come onto the back. Take your right ankle above the left knee or just past it, and bring your hands through. Hold the left shin or behind the thigh. Thread the needle. Stretching open the hip again. Now keep the legs in the same position. Drop your knees off to the left and look over your right shoulder. If that feels awkward, you can always just put your left knee on top of the right like you do when you regularly take that twist. And then come back to center. Left ankle just past the right knee. Thread the needle. And then keep the legs in the same shape again. Drop your legs to the right and look over the left shoulder. And again, if that feels awkward, you can always put your left knee on top of your right knee instead. Inhale back through center. And draw your knees into your chest once more. Just gently rock from side to side. And we'll make our way into our final resting pose. So take a few moments to get comfortable. Allow your feet to flop open. Arms by your side, your palms faced up. Reach your tailbone to the backs of the knees. And draw your shoulder blades away from the ears. And just sink into the floor with natural breathing. So as you're here resting, I'm going to read our quote. So we're going to study and talk about the 8 limbs of yoga for the next couple of weeks. And the third limb is called asana, which is, those are the poses that we practice. But there's also 7 more limbs of other things that go with our yoga practice. So our first limb is called yamas. And yamas are sort of like the golden rule, to treat other people the way that you want to be treated. and also to be good to yourself. So the first of the yamas, there are 5 of them. The first one is called ahimsa. Ahimsa means non-violence. So no harm to yourself, no harm to others. And I just want to mention, along with ahimsa in our practice, how important it is to take care of our bodies. So if we are experiencing any pain or going too far, we need to be nice to ourselves. And also a little message to Sophia from Slovakia. And Sophia has been taking a lot of exams and feeling a little down on herself about the grades. So Sophia, practicing ahimsa means no harm to yourself. So treat yourself nicely, regardless of grades. You absolutely deserve it. So now I'll let you rest. And start to make movements, stretch your arms and legs, reawakening your body. And then bend the knees, roll to your right, and pause a moment, pausing for all of our blessings. And slowly make your way back up to seated. And bring your hands together, an Anjali Mudra, mudra of reverence. Hands to our forehead to remind us to have clear and loving thoughts. The hands to the heart center, reminding us to have clear and loving intentions. And our hands to the mouth, reminding us to have clear and loving communication, sending out all this wonderful energy to all beings everywhere. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that I get to see you again tomorrow as we work on a pose called Grasshopper. If you liked today's class, please push the like button and subscribe, and please share these classes with your friends and comment. I love to read your comments. If you can afford a donation of any amount, there is a link below just to help us keep our mission going. Yoga for everyone. Thanks.